appears. The gift you have been granted must be magical synesthesia. I was wondering what you would earn. I know you are keeping your eyes off of your notifications out of politeness, but I would look into that more closely when you leave here. As a secondary gift, let me increase the land allotment that you earned from the part you played in that little war."
Joe heard a ding, but again refrained from looking over at the blinking notification. The king spoke to the room at large after sitting down, his motion calculated to force clapping to a halt so that his words would have maximum impact on the gathering.
"My people, we are here today to honor a man that not only played a large part in ending the Wolfman Uprising, but also saved my very life. This man, Joe."
Here the king motioned at Joe and silenced the excited whispering that had broken out.
"Has earned my favor and the favor of my people by extension. I deem the first of his steps toward nobility as complete. Should he complete 2 more tasks of such aid to the kingdom, he will be granted the rights of full nobility."
The room exploded into furious noise, and Joe could have sworn that he somehow saw a smug look on the king's face through the armor that blocked all sight.
"Of course, this is easier said than done. How many times can one man save a king, who has only ever needed to be saved once?"
Polite laughter broke out, but the smiles were cut with calculated staring that felt anything except excited or happy.
"Let the feast begin!"
Joe sat to the right of the king, only 2 seats away from the man himself. The queen sat next to Joe, but both of the regents remained as still as cut stone the entire meal. The prince, sitting on the left of the king, kept glancing at Joe in confusion, as if he had seen him before but could not remember where. Joe remembered quite clearly. It was one of the most unexpected deaths he had experienced in the game, and if he hadn't been nearly immediately given recompense, Joe may have held a grudge. As it stood, it was likely better not to point out errors perpetrated by the crown prince at dinner.
"Joe, thank you again for what you did to save my husband."
The queen was speaking in a low tone and hadn't turned her head to address him. That would have instantly drawn attention, since the movement would have caused all the gathered people to choke.
"I thought all was lost. Also, how is the wildebeest?"
"Is that what this is?"
Joe inspected the haunch of meat, and sure enough, he got the expected result. Perception check plus knowledge check success. This is a perfectly seared slice of meat from a wildebeest. Stamina plus 10 for the next 2 hours.
"Wow!"
Joe allowed his excitement to show through. "I've never seen normal food cooked well enough to give bonuses by itself." "Oh, it's delicious, ma'am. That is, Your Majesty. As for the king, as happy as I am to have saved him, I truly can't take much credit. At the end of the day, it was an incredibly self-serving act."
"You refer to the penalties imposed on males of our race?"
The queen shifted a tiny amount, and Joe assumed she had needed to hold in a shrug.
"It would have been far worse for me and mine, Joe. We would have lost Henry. As for being self-serving, I disagree. While there was sure to be the benefit of having a king, I was told that you crossed the battlefield not only with terrible burns, but also missing a leg. No one would have faulted you for not making the journey."
"Ugh, I'm so hungry." The words were not what Joe expected to hear coming from her next.
"Our battle prowess makes more regular aspects of life somewhat more difficult. If I wanted to tear into that meat with you, no one else but Henry could eat at the same time. I told him we should have eaten before the ceremony. I do have one more question for you, and it may seem a little strange."
Right, please." Joe nodded slightly as an indication for her to continue, and refrained from taking another bite of food.